Hey everybody, welcome back to Meadow Green Farm. So today we're down at the house taking care of some farm related things on the home side, if you will. So we have a Kubota Z251 Zero Turn, and I really need to break this thing out of storage and get to mowing the lawn because our lawn is getting very long with all the warm and wet weather that we've been having. But I've yet to mow the lawn because we actually have some maintenance to do to it. I have to change the blades on it today. We're doing a full fluid change, filters, oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, and then I'm going to be replacing two of the front wheels on this thing. I had a lot of issues in the last 2 or 3 years with this machine because the edge of our concrete driveway is very sharp, and the little tiny wheels on the front of the Zero Turn, when they bump into that sharp concrete, they've been getting holes. So we're gonna fix that today. I've actually bought some run flat tires off of Amazon, and we're gonna give them a shot and test them out. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything we got to put on the Zero Turn today, wash this thing up, and then get to work. Alrighty, so this is the kit that we're gonna be installing today. So it's got 2 quarts of oil, we got the fuel filter, the air filter with the cleaner cover, oil filter, and the spark plug. So we're gonna be doing the spark plug also today. This is for the Kholer 25 horse motor on the Z251 Kubota Zero Turn. You can get these at Tractor Supply, and if you are somebody that likes to buy stuff off the Amazon, which is actually where I got this, I'll put that link in the description below for you. This is a set of brand new blades that we're going to be installing today. Now my plan is pretty straightforward on these. We need to just touch the edge of these real quick with a sanding disc just to get the paint off of them and get them nice and sharp. We're going to put these on today, and my intent is to run these all summer long until the fall time. Now I'm going to keep the old blades that are on the Zero Turn right now so that this fall, when we have a lot of sticks and leaves and acorns and things on our lawn, I can throw the old blades back on the Zero Turn and actually kick everything off the lawn with those old blades rather than digging up our new blades. These are the run flats that I was talking about earlier, and we just finished giving these a 3rd coat of Kubota Orange Rust-Oleum. Again, you can pick this up at Tractor Supply, which is where I got this can. It's pretty pricey, but I want this to last, and I want it to look really good like it belonged on the Kubota. So orange is kind of a tricky color. If you don't get it exactly perfect, it's gonna look really out of place. It also is kind of helpful because I need to do some touch-up painting on the tractor. So there's a couple spots on the brush hog and stuff that I want to paint before it actually starts rusting through. So we're going to use that a little bit more in the future. These wheels do come with multiple sets of bearings as well as sleeves that you can put inside of them. They come with a Zerk fitting on them so you can grease them. So there's more applications than just a Zero Turn, but I think these are going to work perfect for me. All right, let's see if this thing will start. I've been charging the battery, but here's to hoping. Here we go. Alrighty, as you can see right now, it's just a little dirty, so it just needs a quick bath. The other thing that we're going to do today is we're actually going to take the deck off this machine. I just want to give it a once over, make sure everything's looking good. We got to do that to change the blades anyways, so I'll show you the easy way of taking the deck off as I did in our previous Zero Turn video, and I'll also show you a way that you can service the deck on the top side without having to take it off the Zero Turn. Looks like the back tires might have some holes in them too. They're both pretty low. I'll have to take a look at that. This machine has really been a great machine for me. It's always started up until a few minutes ago when I tried to pull it out of the garage. But the battery is 3 years old, and it is the first time cranking over this spring, so I guess it's kind of to be expected. But we really have not had any issues with this other than the reason we made the last video on it, and that was the tensioner spring on the deck, which broke. But Kubota came through really clutch for me. They shipped a new one out. I had it in like 2 or 3 days. We got it replaced, no big deal. Oh, I'm gonna regret that in a few minutes, I'm sure. Alrighty, I think we got this cleaned up good enough for now. I'm gonna grab the leaf blower, blow it off real quick, try and get some of the water out of here. Then we'll pull it in the garage and get to work. Alrighty, what do we want to do first here? I say take a stab at the front wheels. I'll take the deck off at the same time. We lift it up, and then we'll swing back around and do the fluids. Plan, I like it. Who wants to guess? Do we have metric or freedom units? Take this bolt out, and this bolt usually has a sleeve on it. And there's two caps on the wheels. You don't want to lose those. So these run flats come with bearing sets right here, various sizes and sleeves, like I stated before. So we got to cut the zip tie off, find our appropriate size bearing. Nope. Jackpot. Slide these on. You should just tap right into place. Now, I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with the spacing, because the hub sticks out much wider than the ones on these. So I wonder if I should take this spindle right off. Might be easier to just take the spindle right off. That should make it a little bit easier. All right, so I'm thinking it's gonna be easier to do this just kind of standing up. So let's just see if we can slip that over there. See if we can get the bolt started. Put the spacers on it. So it looks like definitely need a spacer in there. Oh boy, that spacer is just about perfect. Let's try that. Well, I think that's going to work. Let's put it back on. If you are somebody looking to use these run flats on your Kubota, on the same model that I am, I use the thick and the thin spacer on one side and the thick on the other. It's not perfectly centered in the spindle, but it has no play in it, so that's perfect. And the other thing is I actually just left out the Zerk fitting. The Kubota cap that goes over the hub of the wheel actually blocks the threaded hole for this Zerk fitting. So That's not going to work, so we just left it out. It's covered by the hole for now. Let's go ahead and get the other tire on, and we'll move on to the deck. So we got the mess all cleaned up from replacing the front tires. Now I can only hope that they actually work as good as they look and they fit. So I'm pretty happy with them right now. Fingers crossed that they function really well. So let's go ahead and start working on the deck. Now I am going to take the deck all the way off, as I said before, because I'm replacing the blades, and I want to take a peek under there and make sure there's not old grass and stuff stuck to the deck. So just make sure you give it a full service before we start mowing this year. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll probably spray it down with a coat of WD-40 just to kind of protect it. Now, I had somebody in the comments of my video last year when we took the mower out and we replaced the tensioner spring. They commented on that video with a great suggestion, and in that video I took the deck all the way off because I wanted to sharpen the blades and clean out the deck and everything else, but the main purpose of that video was to actually fix the zero turn in the tensioner spring. If you have an issue with the tensioner spring or the belt, you do not have to take the deck all the way off. They suggested just removing these 4 bolts right on the top of the I guess you can call it the foot pad or the deck lid. And once you take those 4 bolts right out, you have full access to the top of that deck, the deck cover. You can replace the belt, the tensioner spring, plastic covers, the pulleys, everything, just by taking out those 4 bolts. So I didn't actually know that, but regardless, I was taking the deck off anyway, so kind of no harm, no foul there. So let's go ahead, we'll take the deck off. We're gonna drop this back down first, disconnect the belt from the crank pulley on the engine. Gotta do that first. And then we'll pull the 4 pins holding the deck to the machine itself. And then once those 4 pins are out, we'll lift this back up with this hoist right here, which makes it really easy for getting the deck in and out and off this machine. So once we lift it up, we'll just slide the deck out, slide it outside, clean it up, and then we can start changing our fluids. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually pull down on the belt right here and try and guide it over the lip of this pulley. And once it's over that lip, we can start turning the crank pulley and the belt will slip right off. So what we gotta do is just pull down on it slightly, not very hard. You see it as it comes around, you can see that the belt is slipped off the guide of the pulley like that, and then it's just gonna pop right off, just like that. All right, so these pins have a retaining ring, kind of like a keychain ring. Just slip this right off. These can be a little bit tricky to get out, these pins. Usually the first 2 or 1 or 2 are easy, and after that it's all downhill. Here we go. Okay. Deck didn't get any lighter over the winter. All right. I suppose while we're here, I might as well wash out all this grass, which means I gotta take the covers off. Well, you're gonna make me take the whole rack of sockets out, aren't you? It's a 12 millimeter, in case you're wondering. Oh yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Suppose I should turn this around so you can see it. If I was a smart person. I think that's pretty good. Oh, no, even more stuff to clean. And make sure it's the right one, because you know, we know how Amazon does it. It's not always the same. This is pretty crazy. You can see how much that blade is worn right there. I mean, it's a 1/2 inch easily. Just went ahead with a flap disc and basically just took all the paint right off the edge to make it nice and sharp. She's sharp now, that's for sure. You basically put this back on the same way you take it off. You pull a little bit of tension on it, get it started on one of the flanges of the pulley, and then wind it. Let's go ahead and take the air filter out of here. A little dusty. Usually I spray this out between every cutting, but today, going in the trash. Even though I change these every year, I like to put the date on them just like that. Just to be sure, just to keep track of things. Let's see if we can get this fuel filter out real quick. They got this line coming out of the crankcase right here, with a little slot in the sheet metal. Just poke that down, take the cap off, and let this stuff go ahead and start draining. It's gonna take a while. I think this is old oil and it's pretty cold, so we're gonna let it drain for a little bit and then we'll catch back up with you. All right, looks like the oil is done draining. Let's get our cap. Cap this line. Snap this back down. All right, oil's drained. Let's get the filter. There's a little drain hole underneath the filter. If you go slow, it should all drain out into that, through that hole into the pan anyways. I always like to take a little bit of the old oil and just lubricate the face of the seal. Oh, I gotta clean that up. I can't just leave it like that. Did all that work. Okay. Okay. While we're here, now that the oil is drained, we still got to fill the oil, but while we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and change the spark plug. And we have old versus new, so a little bit of carb on it. Doesn't look too rich or too lean. I think we're good there. So let's get the new one right in. There we go. All right, so one thing left to do is fill the oil. Always make sure you wipe out your oil funnel. You don't want any dust down in there. That's not good. Even though it's supposed to be 2 quarts, I always like to just pull the funnel out, put this dipstick down in there, see where you're at. It's easier to fill than it is to drain the right amount. Looks like we're still a little low. I'm gonna run it just like that. We're full, almost 2 quarts. All right, so we changed the oil filter. We got the oil changed, the fuel filter, the spark plug, the front tires. We changed the blades, we cleaned the deck, and we washed the machine. I did fill up the back tires off camera, so those are all filled, and the gas tank is filled. So I'm ready to hit the lawn first thing tomorrow morning and actually get our front lawn mowed. So I'm very excited for that. This thing is good to go for the rest of the year. Some eagle-eyed people may have noticed at the beginning of the video when I showed the kit that that kit actually had the wrong air filter inside of it. And luckily I do have a spare air filter, so I was able to throw that in the machine. So what I put in the description below will not be that kit part number. So if you saw that kit part number, disregard it. I'll put the correct kit part number down in the description, as well as the individual part numbers for the spark plug and the oil filter and whatnot. That is going to do it for today's video. I'm really happy that this is completed. Most of our channel is dedicated towards farming and homesteading, but I do like to throw in the machinery maintenance once in a while and you know, just show people that part of being on a homestead is being self-sufficient and being able to do this kind of stuff yourself and save yourself that kind of money. So if this video did help you out, hit the like button for us. It does help us out a lot. Hit subscribe if you want to watch our farm grow. Until next time, if you have any comments and questions, put them down in the comments below. I'll get back to you, and I hope you have a great day.